Hey everybody, it's Moonbo here, and welcome back to more Endless Scrap Mechanic. In today's episode of Scrap Mechanic Creations, we're going to be taking a look at 3 different builds that use the tank tracks mod in different ways. So on the left we've got the Ripsaw luxury tank. Now that was an experiment in adding suspension to the tank tracks. In the middle there we've got a half-track military truck, and that is an experiment in using the tank tracks alongside wheels with steering. And then behind that, all the way to the right, we have an awesome excavator where flipping the tank tracks over makes it look so much cooler. So we're going to be going through these builds, checking them out, having lots of fun, so let's get started. So let's begin with the Ripsaw luxury tank. Now this is an interesting build. Now unfortunately, I wanted to make this build longer, but there's only one set of tank tracks. So if you want to use the tank tracks, you're essentially limited to whatever size you plan on building based off of the tank tracks themselves. So this is a little bit shorter and taller than originally intended, but either way, I'm still really happy with the overall design. And like I mentioned, this was an experiment in using suspension along with the tank track. So you can see underneath it here we have 3 suspension pieces on either side that is connected to those tank tracks. Now it can prove to be a little janky once you have them implemented in your world, but overall pretty stable. So I've spawned in a second Ripsaw tank right here just to show you what exactly is going on with the suspension. So I've had to remove some of the cosmetics here simply because they are actually blocking the suspension from fully functioning. So that was more of like a design issue more than anything. But you can see here that if I put the lift underneath on the front side of the tread, you can see, look at that. The entire tank track was actually leaning forward. So if we try that again there, hopefully this time it won't slide off right away. Okay, there we go. You can see very quickly it's leaning forward just like so. And now if we do the exact same thing to the opposite side here at the back of it, you can see it also pivots that way as well. So the way I did that was I added a single rigid support right here for the center suspension. And then on either side, I have bearings connected to the top of the suspension. And then across all 3 of the bottom parts of the suspension there, I have bearings as well. So why don't we jump into the pilot seat of this tank and try and drive it around. Now look at this. First of all, you can see right away that this thing is insanely fast. Now, if you guys don't know how to increase the speed of the tank track engine, all you have to do is get a button, paint the button white, and then connect it to the tank engine, and then press that a few times. I believe the white button increases the speed by 10 every time, so you don't necessarily need to do it too much because, as you can see right now, this is an extremely fast tank. And now, it might not look like it's going really fast, and that's really because it actually isn't going super fast, but if you go any faster, then it starts to act extremely strange. Now I've got a perfect little section right here for testing something like this. So you can see we can go down with the tank tracks, and you can even see the suspension working a little bit there by pivoting the tank tracks. Now if I didn't have the covers over top of them, they would definitely be moving a lot more than that. But you can see that it's an extremely nimble vehicle, and even if it's like stuck on an edge, you know, if I go up like this or something like that, you can see it doesn't really get stuck because there's nothing blocking the front or the back of these tank tracks. So they are pretty much always in contact with the ground, and it's an extremely stable platform. Now, I'm pretty sure, as far as I know as well, you can actually change the speed of the steering versus the overall speed of the tank engine as well, because now you can see right now, like, turning in this thing is really, really fast, but it doesn't really seem to translate very much to the actual forward or reverse momentum that you would gain. But despite the fact that it is a little short and tall, I really love the look of this Ripsaw tank. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and you can see there's some really nice grading style rear paneling in the back there. We even have 2 fire extinguishers as well, guys. You know, safety first when you're using a crazy creation like this. Now, the next creation that we're going to check out is the half-track truck. Now, this is like a World War II style build. It's really, really awesome. I love the design of it. Now, this was something that was actually developed in the past as well. They actually were making vehicles like this that utilize tank tracks in the back as well as normal truck tires on the front. So it gives such a unique design. Like, I've never seen anything like this before, and it was so much fun to build. So of course, the thing about this creation is that the tank tracks are set up differently than if they were actually used for something like the Ripsaw that we just checked out. This is going to be a different setup simply because of the fact that there are wheels on the front as well. So that means that you don't want to use the tank tracks for steering, you actually want to use them only for forward and reverse. And I've been really getting into using some double wishbone style suspension. It's actually way more stable, it's a lot of fun to build as well, and it actually does kind of give a little bit more of complexity to the build and makes it look a lot nicer as well. So let's hop into the driver's seat right here, guys. We can press this switch right there. It's gonna open up the door for us. We just have to hop on top of the shovel right here, and then we'll be able to get in to the seat. Okay, there we go. Let's shut the door behind us. Now, what are we hauling here? Okay, it looks like we got some explosives in the back. That might not be the safest thing, but they are connected, so they aren't gonna be rolling around. Now, this, though, is so much fun to drive. I don't know why, but there's something very satisfying about seeing tank tracks in the back with wheels in the front. So why don't we try and take this half-track truck up on top of this hill here. Okay, my driving skills should probably be a little bit better. Okay, here we go. We're gonna follow this path up. Now, the tank tracks I find them to be a little slippery if you compare them to wheels in this game. So it does kind of slide around from the back of the truck. But other than that, this thing is actually quite powerful. Oh my goodness, what has happened to my suspension? Okay, can I try and just like reverse down this hill? Okay, no, that suspension has completely broken. Okay, let's stop right here. Let's do a little pit stop. I need to do a quick inspection here. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before on the double wishbone suspension. I feel like has it like buckled in on itself? Okay, you know what? Let's do a little mechanic stop right here. Let's lift this up. Okay, okay, that is not fixing it. Wow, that is really messed up. And it seems to be only getting worse. So, okay, there's no fixing this. We're gonna have to just quickly put it on the lift and drop it down again. Yeah, don't ask me what just happened there. I don't even know how that could have happened. I thought that this was a pretty stable set of suspension there, but clearly maybe I might have done something wrong on the wishbone suspension. So yeah, I don't know what that was all about. That was a weird suspension issue right there, but we're gonna carry on driving this thing around. And as you can see, I've got all sorts of nifty little details as well. You can see we've got the mud flaps that are flapping around. There's that shovel there. And overall, it's just a really awesome build. And of course, the next creation that we're going to check out is the one I am most excited for. This is the Excavator. Now, there's nothing really special about this one. You know, the Ripsaw had the tank tracks on suspension. The half-track truck, of course, was half-track and half-truck. And then we have here the Excavator. Now, what I did with this one, though, was a little bit of an experiment because I wanted to see what would happen if I flipped the tank tracks upside down. And incidentally, if you flip these over, they still work like normal tank tracks. And I gotta say, the tank tracks are such an amazing addition to this game. The mod is absolutely amazing, and being able to build something like this and actually have it look like an excavator is such a special treat to see in scrap mechanics. So let's hop into the driver's seat though, and there are a few different functions here. Now, I built all of these creations during a stream, and people were really saying, Moonbo, make sure you build this excavator using pistons. And so that is what I did. All of these mechanisms are piston controlled, so that way there's no bearings or anything. It's actually pistons moving all of the different parts. So you can see we've got the scoop there, we have the arm extension, and we also have the arm raise and lower. So driving this around though is very, very simple. Like I mentioned, despite the fact that the tank tracks are flipped upside down, this thing still drives around. Now, if you want to disengage the lock mechanism, all you have to do is press the switch, and there it goes. The lock mechanism goes down, and now we can freely rotate the entire excavator body from side to side. So that way, you know, if you're mining some type of rock or something, or trying to dig a huge hole, that's pretty much what you would have to do. Now, a detail in this build that was suggested during the live stream, it's such a good idea, and that is using a piston to actually create like a smoke effect as if there was exhaust coming out of the exhaust pipe. And so you can see once we turn it on, it just adds this amazing layer of realism while you're using the excavator. Now, unfortunately, there's something that we are lacking in Scrap Mechanic, and that is any type of terraforming capabilities. So I'm going to set up a little pit of, we're gonna call them loose rocks, and I'm gonna try and scoop up as many of them as I can and put them into the back of the half-track truck. Now, I think the easiest way for me to do this is I'm going to just put a bunch of loose blocks just like so on one huge piece of concrete. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of those. Okay, there we go. So they've all fallen into the pit. Now, I'm going to do that maybe 2 more times. Hopefully, it's not going to get too laggy. And then we should have a pretty decent amount of rocks sitting in this pit. And we should be able to actually use this excavator to dig them up and drop them into the truck. All right, this final time. Okay, there we go. So that seems to be enough. I'm not lagging too much. I have some pretty decent frames. Now, I'm really hoping that when Survival comes out, maybe one day, we might actually see the ability to terraform and dig holes, which would be absolutely amazing. Just imagine being able to, like, dig a basement for your base or some type of underground, some type of bunker or something. There's just going to be so many possibilities. But here we go. We're going to try and scoop up some of these rocks. Now, I'm going to swing the entire bucket over this way. Now, I guess we should probably make sure we're pretty well lined up, just like so. Okay, there we go. Now, I think I might be close enough. Let's drop it down. Okay, the lag is starting to get real once we get this entire bucket on top of these rocks. But we're going to try this anyway. Now, I'm not too sure which buttons to press here. Okay, we're going to try and press 2, I guess, and 3. Okay, there we go. Scooping. Come on. Nice and easy. Oh, perfect. We did it. We've got the blocks. Oh, man, this is awesome. It's working. No, I mean, yeah, I knew this was going to work. Okay, here we go. We've got some blocks that we have managed to pick up. Now let's try and bring them over here to the truck. Now, I don't know, can I raise this up, do you think, without losing those rocks? Okay, uh-oh. This is extremely laggy. Now, it doesn't seem like I might be able to lift these up. I might have to actually do some actual manual changes to these pistons. So I'm just gonna increase this by maybe 10. Okay, is that gonna be enough? Maybe just one more. Now that's the beauty of using pistons though, is you can really push them as far as you need to go. Okay, that might actually be our limit right there. So we're gonna set that to 10. Let's hop back into the driver's seat. And I think, you know what? I think we just barely have enough clearance. Now I'm gonna spin our bucket to the front here. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's really laggy. Don't worry guys. Totally worth it. Okay, I actually think this might be a terrible idea, but I'm gonna try and drop these rocks off into the back of the truck. Okay, there we go. This isn't too bad. I mean, it's kind of laggy, but I mean, I've seen worse in this game. I've seen 0 frames per second. Okay, there we go. We're dropping the rocks, and it worked. Let's back up away from... Okay, whoa, don't grab the truck with you. Okay, just easily... Nice and easy, back up, come on, let go of the truck. Okay, see, that is just how slippery those tracks are, actually, is they just keep on sliding around with me here. Now, I don't even feel like I can turn this whole thing. All right, there we go. I think I'm able to get the bucket away from the truck. Okay, perfect. Now, let's just turn away. Now, hopefully, once we take a few steps away from the half-track truck, we're gonna be able to get some frames back. Okay, there we go. It did work. So I was able to scoop up some rocks though and dump them. So I mean, clearly you can see that the ability to use these types of creations does exist in the game. It's only a matter of time until they turn them into like a fully functioning type of creation where we will be digging up the ground and maybe using that dirt as a type of block or resource in the game. Now, okay, I can see here that I have hyperextended this piston. It's really not happy with that, so we probably should set that back down, maybe. Now, I want to do another scoop of those rocks there because it was such a satisfying thing, but I feel like this half-track truck might be lagging us a little bit, so I think it's probably best that we maybe get rid of that. Okay, whoa. Oh, there we go. So there we go. Now the lag isn't so bad. Okay, of course, the track had to get right in the way there. But I want to try and scoop one last time. There was something extremely satisfying with the action of scooping with this excavator, and I feel like it's because it's just something that doesn't truly exist in the game, you know? Like, this is something that I have to make. I had to create the rocks. I had to kind of create the environment for me to be able to use it. All right, it looks like I'm lined up for another good scoop here. Let's drop it down. We're gonna bring it in. Scoop. Oh, man. I think this should be good. We're scooping. Let's maybe kind of lift it up and away. Oh, perfect. Look at that. That is probably some of the most satisfying stuff I have ever done in Scrap Mechanic. And then once we get away from all of those loose stones, look at that. We have ourselves some stones in our bucket. Man, this is so awesome. Now I can bring these stones wherever I want to and drop them down. Now, obviously, there's no real end goal for this here. I'm just gonna drop the stones just like so. And there they go. Man, I love this game. Now, I know I say this all the time, but this is probably my new favorite build, and that's because any type of creation where you can actually have moving parts, not only moving parts, but loose parts, in this case, like the rocks that we can pick up, and the way we can interact with them, it's just some of the most immersive stuff in this game right now, and I think this is kind of the type of things that I'm using to fill the gap between survival and now. So guys, out of these 3 creations, we had the Ripsaw, which had the tank tracks on suspension. We had the half-track truck, which uses the tank track mod, as well as wheels for movement and steering. And we also have the flipped over tracks for this awesome excavator. So out of these 3 creations, which one was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments, and why was it your favorite? Now, that is going to be the video for today, guys. So if you did enjoy these builds or the video, then let me know by hitting that like button. And if you want to tune in for some more endless Scrap Mechanic, then consider subscribing to the channel, maybe even turning on some notifications so you get the latest and the craziest coming from me in Scrap Mechanic. So guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one, so bye for now.